A few moments ago, Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Good day, everyone. We're coming on the air with some sad breaking news.
The Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon.
She was the longest reigning British monarch.
She had been on the throne for 70 years.
Her eldest son and heir, Charles, is now the King.
The death of Her Majesty the Queen is a huge shock to the nation and to the world.
At age 96, the Queen's death wasn't entirely unexpected, but it came just 2 days after she'd sworn in her 15th Prime Minister. As gun salutes rang out across the country, the UK was thrust into national mourning, a usually reserved nation putting on a rare display of emotion for their beloved Queen. 250,000 people queued to see her lying in state. After so long on the throne, the outpouring of grief was of course expected, but it crossed racial divides and spread well beyond British shores.
She had dignity, she honoured, she respected everybody's religion.
She loved black people, so we're going to miss her.
Her sense of duty was obviously the thing that drove her, so I think she's just an amazing role model for both, younger and older generations.
The Queen's funeral was one of the biggest events ever held in the UK. Decades in the planning, 2,000 dignitaries and world leaders attended the service. The scale and pageantry befitting of a monarch of 70 years. Hundreds of thousands lined the procession route to pay their final respects. It's estimated a further 4 billion people around the world watched on television. The vast global reaction did not come as a surprise to royal commentators.
The Queen was the most famous person on earth, the most recognisable face, and I think that's why the world suddenly wanted to actually look in on it and see what was going on.
But behind the very public mourning, there were brief reminders of a family's private grief and moments where personal grievances were temporarily cast aside. The business of Crown leaves little time for grieving. With the passing of one monarch came the swearing in of another. At age 74, King Charles is finally in the job he was born to do, but many are wondering if he has the gravitas of his mother. Upon the Queen's death, she was the head of state of 15 countries, but since she's died, the rumblings of republicanism have grown louder in many of them. Professor Philip Murray thinks Caribbean countries that are already seeking slavery reparations from Britain will be the first to pursue independence, with Belize, Jamaica and Antigua and Barbuda leading the movement.
I think race has become a big issue in the Caribbean. And I think the saga of Meghan and Harry and Meghan's claims that she was subject to racial discrimination within the royal family carry a lot of weight. And I think, the problem that the royal family now has is that, particularly on social media, whatever happens, there are always two narratives. There's the narrative from the palace and there's the narrative from Harry and Meghan. Unless the British royal family can sort that out amongst themselves, it's going to dog whatever happens.
A symbol of stability for many, the Queen was the only monarch they'd known. Born in a different era, she was of the generation that lived and served in World War II and presided over the dissolution of the British Empire. Her passing perhaps breaks one of the last living links with the UK's imperial age. Sarah Morris, TRT World, London.